This evening, first, a Venezuelan woman is charged with attempted murder after a fiery attack on a Guyanese businessman. What police say led to the shocking gasoline-fueled assault. Plus, President Ali unveils bold new infrastructure plans, including a highway and port set to transform Region 3 into a booming industrial hub. We'll break down how this could change the future of Guyana. Also, 1,400 students left in limbo. The Gold Scholarship Program severs ties with two international partners, leaving many questioning what's next for their education. Meanwhile, critics demand a full suspension of gold, while the Working People Alliance is calling for a probe into the billion-dollar scholarship initiative. Finally, Germany inches towards a historic vote that could unlock hundreds of billions for its military, breaking a 16-year financial restraint. Stay tuned, these stories and more tonight on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for March 18, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, a Venezuelan national, 32-year-old Veronica Rondon Alfaro of San Felix, El Dorado, Venezuela, has been charged with attempted murder following an alleged gasoline attack on a Guyanese businessman. The incident occurred on March 9th at Mango Landing, Region 7. According to reports, the victim, 36-year-old Frederick Jr. Stanford of Golden Grove, East Coast, Demerara, has shared an intimate relationship with Alfaro for the past year. Police investigations revealed that after consuming alcohol at a nearby shop, Alfaro returned to the victim's business premises and, following an argument, allegedly doused him with gasoline from a Coca-Cola bottle before attempting to set him on fire. During the struggle, both parties were burned. Public-spirited citizens intervened and rushed the pair to the Etterimbang police station. They were later medevaced to Georgetown for medical treatment. Alfaro was arrested on March 13 and appeared virtually before Magistrate Rabindranath Singh at the Camarang Magistrates Court on March 17. She was charged with attempted murder and remanded to prison. The case has been adjourned to June 17, 2025 for continuation. On a different note, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali has announced plans for a new highway connecting the soon-to-be-completed Demerara River Bridge to Wales, Bartica, and eventually to Mary. The project is expected to drive massive infrastructure and economic development, opening up tens of thousands of acres for farming and new housing schemes. The president made the announcement on Sunday during the commissioning of the $1.35 billion Wales water treatment plant. He emphasized that the government is focused on transformative projects that will create long-term benefits.
We are plotting the next phase of the highway that will go, the new highway that will come from the new bridge and go all the way to Wales and then go all the way to the Del Conte route, opening up tens of thousands of acres of land for farmers, for housing, connecting Bartica, bringing the road back onto Sand Hills, taking it to Mary. That is what we do.
In addition to the highway, President Ali revealed plans for a modern port facility at Perica, enabling farmers to export their produce directly to the Caribbean and beyond.
Talking about a new port that we have to build at Perica to take off the modern ferries and so that we can export directly from Perica to support our farmers to the Caribbean and further afield.
The president also confirmed that a second power plant will be constructed to support the industrial development of Region 3, positioning it as a modern manufacturing hub and creating thousands of jobs. The U.S. $260 million Demerara River Bridge, currently under construction, will support these developments. The bridge, the first of its kind in South America, will connect regions 3 and 4 and accommodate vehicles of all sizes. President Ali urged citizens, especially young people, to protect and build on these national investments, describing the future as one of untold bounties and prosperity. In other news, Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George is set to deliver her ruling on March 28 in the case seeking house-to-house verification of voter addresses brought by the People's National Congress Reform Chief Election Scrutineer Carol Smith-Joseph. Smith-Joseph has asked the High Court to direct the Ghana Elections Commission to verify not only the existence of addresses provided by registrants, but also to confirm they reside or have connections to those addresses. However, during Monday's hearing, Justice George questioned the practicality of the request, reminding that residency is not a constitutional requirement for voting in Guyana's general election, a position established in previous rulings. Attorney Dexter Todd, representing Smith-Joseph, argued that the electoral system could be manipulated without address verification. However, Justice George challenged whether a voter could be disqualified from regional elections due to issues addressed while still eligible for the general elections, further stating that a person cannot be enfranchised and disenfranchised simultaneously. Attorney General Anil Nandlal contended that the issue of residency was settled in a 2019 ruling and noted that amendments made after the 2020 elections removed any legal requirements for address verification. He warned that denying someone the right to register or vote based on address concerns would violate their constitutional rights. GCOM's legal representative, Kurt De Silva, acknowledged that while residency is not required for general elections, it remains relevant for regional elections, potentially necessitating separate lists and ballots. The outcome of this case could impact preparations for the upcoming general and regional elections scheduled for later this year. Stick around when we return. WPA calls for pause and review of gold scholarship amid international concerns, and 1.35 billion Wales water treatment plant commissioned.
See clearly with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Hurry Small to make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. The Ghana Online Academy of Learning, GOAL, has announced the discontinuation of its partnership with the International Skill Development Corporation, ISDC, and the University of Staffordshire due to unresolved issues between the two institutions. In a press release, GOAL reaffirmed its commitment to expanding access to quality online education, noting that it has awarded nearly 30,000 scholarships between 2021 and 2024 through collaborations with over 20 international institutions. The partnership between GOAL, The International Skills Development Corporation and the University of Staffordshire was formalized in late 2023 to allow Guyanese students to pursue degrees through the International Skill Development Corporation progression pathway leading to the University of Staffordshire qualifications. Approximately 1,400 students were awarded scholarships under this agreement in August of 2024. However, by January of 2025, GOAL was informed of challenges affecting course delivery, including issues with course offerings, access to the learning management system, and discrepancies in course matrices. These difficulties escalated into a dispute between the university and ISDC, leaving students uncertain about their academic futures. Despite attempts to directly engage the University of Staffordshire leadership, GOAL stated that no resolution had been reached. The Academy is now working with ISDC and other partner universities, including Arden University, Queen Margaret University, University of the West of Scotland, Wrexham University, and Cardiff Metropolitan University to facilitate transfers for affected students. GOAL apologized for the inconvenience and assured awardees that they would be contacted soon with transfer options to continue their academic progress uninterrupted. Meanwhile, the WPA is calling for the suspension and review of the GOAL Scholarship Program amid growing concerns over its credibility. Ruth Pendleton has more on this developing story.
The Working People's Alliance, WPA, is calling for the suspension and review of the Guyana Online Academy of Learning GOAL Scholarship Program after at least 2 foreign universities publicly denied any association with the academy. Speaking during the weekly press conference on Monday, WPA co-leader Dr. David Hines said serious concerns about the legitimacy and operations of the GOAL program must be addressed. He urged the government to halt the project and allow persons to scrutinize it. Hines pointed out that the many questions being asked cannot go unanswered.
We still believe that there should be at a minimum a pause on this scholarship, and we bring it to the table and we subject it to the scrutiny of experts on this matter, and we do have experts on this matter. Again, we cannot trust this government on important projects such as the GOAL project.
The controversy intensified after the University of Staffordshire in the United Kingdom and another British university distanced themselves from GOAL and the intermediary company handling negotiations on its behalf. While Dr. Hines expressed support for scholarships, he emphasized that they must be credible and beneficial to Guyanese.
We are saying, pause the project and bring it and put it to the scrutiny of exports so that we can ensure that our young people are really getting an enhanced education rather than an education that does not enhance their skill sets, and that the Guyanese people whose money are being spent, that we are getting what we are supposed to get for the money that we are spending.
However, Dr. Hines believes the government has been relatively quiet about the project, which was allocated over $4 billion in this year's national budget. On the other hand, when asked about the GOAL program, Vice President Barjaglio said questions should be channeled directly to the Academy. Reporting for the Headline News, I am Ruth Pendleton.
Thanks, Ruth. A state-of-the-art $1.35 billion water treatment plant was officially commissioned on Sunday in Wales, Region 3, promising to transform water quality and access for 16,000 residents along the west bank of Demerara. The plant, part of a coastal water treatment infrastructure program, was constructed by Hypro Ecologisticals in partnership with local contractor Esdrag Mahan Construction. It has the capacity to treat 8 million liters of water per day, supported by 3 wells, and will serve communities such as Well West, Good Intent, potential, and vive la force. Speaking at the commissioning, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali hailed the project as a symbol of progress and dignity. He noted that this investment translates to approximately $400,000 per household.
My friends, the story of development is before you. Today, in a tasteless way, you will taste it. Because water has no taste. Today, in a tasteless way, you will taste another form of development. By the end of this year, 90% of the population will taste the tasteless nature of water through treated water all across this country.
The president also highlighted significant government investments in housing within Region 3, with over 1,000 homes built or under construction and nearly $90 billion spent in the sector, creating jobs for around 5,000 people. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell emphasized that treated clean water is a universal right.
Far too long, communities have faced the challenge of accessing safe, reliable water. But under the leadership of our President, His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, we have worked unceasingly to correct years of neglect and to bring the real change to our people.
Region 3 alone has benefited from $7.6 billion in water sector investments, impacting nearly 89,000 residents. GWI CEO Sheikh Bash said the plant exceeds the World Health Organization's standards. The facility is also scalable to accommodate future population growth. This project is part of a larger effort under the Coastal Water Treatment Infrastructure Program to construct 7 large water treatment plants and 18 small plants and upgrade 12 existing facilities, aiming to increase treated water coverage from 52% in 2020 to 90% by the end of 2025. Don't go away after the break. U.S. deports over 200 Venezuelan immigrants to El Salvador despite court ban, and smugglers in Mexico use TikTok to attract migrants.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In the Caribbean, 5 Caribbean nations, St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Cuba, may face new U.S. travel restrictions under a Trump administration proposal, according to New York Times. The countries are categorized on a 3-tier system, with the 4 Eastern Caribbean states placed on a yellow list, facing a 60-day compliance deadline. The move targets nations with citizenship by investment programs and heightened security concerns. Meanwhile, in North America, smugglers in Mexico are now using TikTok to attract migrants, claiming high success rates. The UN estimates hundreds of thousands attempt the journey annually. Al Jazeera's Julia Galliano reports.
In a clandestine safe house in the border city of Ciudad Juarez, these Peruvian migrants are waiting for their chance to cross into the United States. Frank and Joanna, not their real names, haven't set foot outside this room in nearly a month. The Bible, their only source of comfort in these uncertain times. After fleeing death threats at home, they had hoped to claim asylum in the U.S. Now they're counting on this man, a people smuggler we'll call Alejandro, to get them across the border and eventually to their relatives in Idaho.
This is the hardest time that we've had, with so much surveillance on both the American and Mexican sides. We've worked harder to get people across, and a lot of them have been detained and sent all the way back to their countries, which makes things more difficult for us.
Like everything else along the U.S.-Mexico border, the migrant smuggling business, a multi-billion-dollar industry, is adjusting to the new U.S. administration. Prices have risen. We were told migrants can be charged up to $15,000 each. That money is distributed among a series of actors that range from authorities to organized crime groups who control the area. There are lookouts on these hills who are monitoring the movements of U.S. and Mexican border authorities around the clock. When they say the time is right, they inform their contacts on both sides of the border, who then begin the movement of migrants across. And if everything goes smoothly, the migrants end up in a safe house across this border somewhere in Texas. But amid more difficult working conditions, smugglers are trying to reassure potential clients they can still get the job done. Enter TikTok. Here, dozens of accounts openly advertise illegal crossings. They feature success stories of migrants that have made it safely to their destinations and claim the trips are 100% guaranteed. Al Jazeera has no way to verify the authenticity of these videos, but I asked Alejandro where their business comes from.
We have our long-time established providers, but now we're working a lot on TikTok. We're bringing people from places that we've never had clients from before. Things are expanding thanks to TikTok.
The UN Office on Drugs and Crime estimates hundreds of thousands of migrants are smuggled each year from Mexico into the U.S. We won't have much notice, Joanna and Frank tell me. They'll tell us to get ready and we'll go when it's clear. If they make it, they will be the lucky ones. With border detentions at their lowest level since the year 2000, it seems, for now at least, many people have been off from even trying. Julia Galliano, Al Jazeera, Ciudad Juarez, Mexico.
U.S. President Donald Trump's determination to speed up the deportation of migrants has run into legal challenges. But Trump seems willing to defy the courts to accomplish his goals. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds reports.
In open defiance of a federal court order, the Trump administration deported more than 200 Venezuelan migrants from the U.S. to El Salvador. President Donald Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, a seldom-used wartime provision, saying the Venezuelans were members of a crime syndicate linked to the government in Caracas. They were flown to El Salvador and placed in a notorious high-security prison. The flights violated a ruling by a federal judge barring the deportations, but administration lawyers argued that the judge's ruling didn't apply to the action. Venezuelan community leaders say they believe many of the individuals were not gang members.
The Venezuelan community as a whole is terrified right now, and there is a huge not knowing sensation in the community and feeling, not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go, who to call.
In another defiance of the courts, immigration agents deported a Lebanese doctor and kidney specialist with a valid U.S. residence visa after a federal judge ordered a stay on her deportation. The administration alleges she is a Hezbollah sympathizer. Her attorney is vowing to challenge the deportation.
We're going to try to get her back in the U.S. to see her patients where she should be.
Trump's so-called border czar said in an interview, quote, "I don't care what judges think."
We removed terrorists from this country, and I stand by what the president did. I support 100%.
Civil liberties attorneys say the country is on dangerous ground.
If the government has this power and the president has this power, any group of people could all of a sudden be designated enemy aliens. The government's position is the courts could not review that. They could be in a minute's notice on a plane and put in a Salvadoran prison.
This video of the Venezuelan prisoners was released by Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele. Venezuelan American leaders called the images painful propaganda.
They should have a due process in the United States. We are not asking for anything else.
President Trump could provoke a constitutional crisis with implications wider than the deportation issue. The courts have no way of enforcing their rulings, but past presidents have, with some exceptions, generally respected the judicial branch's authority. If Trump refuses to obey court orders, it would mean the only remaining check on his power has fallen. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.
Finally, Germany's parliament is due to vote in the coming hours on the release of hundreds of billions of dollars for defense spending. A two-thirds majority is needed to make changes to the constitution to lift the so-called debt brakes, which has limited borrowing for the past 16 years. Al Jazeera's Steph Vasson reports.
Uncertain times for Europe, good times for the defense industry. The share price of the country's largest weapon producer, Rheinmetall, has doubled in only 2 months. After decades of austerity, arms producers gathered here at a trade fair in Koblenz are back in business.
Now we have money, but very little time is left. So it's crucial for all to come together, like here, where military and industry try to cut red tape and make sure that money is quickly and well spent to secure Europe's defence as soon as possible.
A complete turnaround, not only for Germany, which after World War II was restricted from becoming a major military power once again, but also for Friedrich Merz, the man set to become the country's new chancellor, who ahead of the election campaigned to maintain the so-called debt brake, which restricts the amount Germany can borrow and spend. But that was before US President Donald Trump made clear Europe can no longer rely on the US for its defense.
We are ready to defend ourselves, and we are now fully prepared to do so. There will be no shortage of financial resources to defend freedom and peace on our continent. Germany is back.
This also includes increased military support for Ukraine. Whatever it takes, Friedrich Merz said, and that's good news for the German defense industry, which has already been scaling up since Russia's invasion in Ukraine. Germany spent $75 billion on defense last year, hitting NATO's target of 2% of GDP. But military experts say much more is needed. A parliamentary report shows the German military not only lacks equipment and logistics, but personnel as well. The advice, instead of focusing on traditional weaponry, the new government should invest in unmanned drones and artificial intelligence. While many in Germany support more money for the military, some are worried about a new arms race.
If this can be read as a call to the world, defend yourself, it also means that we are talking about proliferation of nuclear weapons, maybe not only to Europe, but I mean, think about South Korea, Japan, think about many other states in conflict regions in the world that could have sort of catastrophic developments.
Economists predict the defense package, together with a $500 billion special fund for infrastructure and climate policies, will give a badly needed boost to the ailing German economy. Steph Vasson, Al Jazeera, Berlin.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3D weather forecast. And that's Safe TV2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.